entirely on county property.
Right, we would have to address the fact that we're gonna allow him to put a gate on our right.
Or we could just take over the gate and allow him to go in and out. That's the same way, just changing the lane.
I don't think we're gonna have to maintain that gate though. Do we?
It's a pretty nice gate too, isn't it?
There's gates and there's gates. It's up here. It's fantastic gate.
Whatever, yeah, I agree.
If he wants it gated, he's gonna keep it in pretty good shape for you.
Andy, what else did you have?
Uh,
I had something for you.
Just let me know what you decide on Mr. Hernandez's property, and I have another one coming in. I'll be working with Gary and Jack and Pam on that is an old right-of-way that got missed when they constructed Kreitzer Reservoir. That someone's requesting to be vacated, a portion of it anyway.
Pam Cannon has come up from time to time with roads that need to be closed or new 911 problems that go along with it. So, 911 addressing those addresses, very important. Just by when you sell property.
Is there any disadvantage to us as far as closing that? I mean,
No, I don't think so.
Isn't there a part of the statute that requires the property owner to bring it up to standard?
If he wants to bring it back from minimum maintenance.
Yeah, if we close it,
Yeah.
then he wants it to reopen, then it's on him to pay the cost
to get it back to where then we start maintaining it, what's,
And have to dedicate it back to us.
so there's really no disadvantage to us.
No, there's nothing back in there.
And
At this
the
point.
advantage to us is, the way it is right now, frankly, if somebody went back in that back corner there and built a house and said, hey,
Where's my road?
where's my road?
Yeah.
We,
Now, could you fix it to where they come in off the Missouri side, or do we have to?
there is a road that dead ends at the Missouri.
Well,
end.
I just see this, I just see, is that a road?
I don't know, it's in Missouri and I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You're not allowed to go over there.
Where we operate on the county unit road system,
I
they operate on township,
And ask
and I don't even know where to look to see
involved.
if they even have
We do
a
the-
record for this.
Can't land off the front.
but if there was, we could use that road probably to get to something here if somebody chose to do it, if we don't shut the whole thing down, or,
That as well.
They're using
Well,
access
it's
road.
hurt, but I mean,
yeah, that's what it appears to me is, but
And he's got
But the other
access,
thing too.
but you can't see that I didn't print out, he's got access up here too.
this guy does, but this is a different landowner here, or?
Correct.
Yeah.
so are we down the roads? So, this thing, for the name for the community advisory committee. And I know Danny, you still, Danny?
Yeah. I'm looking at,
No, I'm just messing with you now.
I already know what you're gonna ask. Andy and I are dealing with it.
But we need to get that going, so my suggestion would be, the names are submitted so far, we have how many names? I know Mike had given some names before he left,
7,
and we approved them, and we approved the ones I had, and we're waiting on Danny still. Can we get those out, and then when Danny's get in, and get approved, I mean, email those out to those people so we don't lose them.
they are already in possession of them. The planner is, of the 7 I've received.
Have they done anything?
I don't think so.
talked.
Clint called me and asked me if he was still on it, as far as I know, so.
I
So
haven't,
can we make phone calls to
oh, yeah.
just get those guys going? I mean, we already put the money out there. And we're like 8 months into it already,
Yeah.
we haven't got anything accomplished.
Yeah, and I'd like to get it accomplished too, but then the problem is, again, COVID. I hate to keep blaming it, COVID for everything, but a lot of this is gonna take people sitting next to each other.
Just properly spaced out. Wear masks if they,
Be nice if it warmed up.
Anyway, that's all I got.
Okay. I'll see if I can't kickstart it a little bit.
Do you have anything else? Anybody else have anything before we go into our workshop here? A few minutes. Let's take a 10-minute recess and we'll continue in one more shot. A motion to take a recess, 10 minutes.
A second.
Who's second, all in favor?
What was that road?
There
Yancey?
you go.
Yeah, Yancey,
Yancey Road?
at 2100.
What did you think about the park itself?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I did. She just, what I thought, she just said that his daughter was supposed to work with him to try to get the number reduced. But if Dad is willing to put
Foolish. Foolish enough of that. Screaming, yelling. Back in the day, we didn't have that nonsense.
They drill service really need a wake up? I mean,
This has been here all the time.
is this,
Yeah.
I want to talk about that. I want to get this house plan off the thing. So Charlie can leave. We need Danny. I'm waiting on Danny. Hey, can you see if he's in there?
Danny, his truck?
He took his truck, he left, he went somewhere.
No, he did?
Yeah, I think so.
He was parked out on Sunday.
Oh, oh. He's gone. Okay. So there are a few of the buildings, Jim, that have weird relationship with, like, we have, the one place thing, that little ambulance barn belongs to the township there, and we lease it. Some of the city dump sites, we own the property.
Most
No,
of
we
the
own-
city owns the property,
Yeah.
but we put the
We
buildings
put-
in and we insure them,
And then they hire the person to do it.
and we pay them rent on the property.
And we
they
pay
use
the
that to pay for
utilities.
the employee.
Yeah.
Like the one at Mound City here, no, he works for the city, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Do we have to pay for any of that, or do
we pay the city rent for the site,
us?
and then they use that to help pay.
The,
So we're basically paying for it.
But it makes it their employee and not ours, so we don't have to deal with that part.
the only operator that we pay.
Did I ask one question?
Sure, Charlie, go ahead.
Just talking about that spray a while ago, and not having adequate water. Why can't you use the sprayers that you use to spray the highways with for your nurse truck?
You get what he's saying?
No.
Tanks on the back.
You mean the tanker?
The tank that you use to spray the roads with during icy times, you're not gonna be using them at the time you're gonna be spraying.
We don't spray the wood, that's Kia. We use rock salt.
Oh, I thought you had a tank you set in the back of your truck.
Now, can you not use every place where they got the fire hydrant sitting there and just screw it down? I mean, they won't let you use.
We got permission.
I know on the pipeline, that's what we'd always do whenever we needed to hydro test pipe or anything, we'd get with the water department.
Yeah.
And they'd talk with them, we'd pay them a little bit. And
What we would do is, with the government, we would go to the water purveyor and say, we need a hydrant, and they give you this, water meter, you screw it in there.
That's what they did to us, too.
You just pay the bill.
They just stuck a meter on there and whatever we used, we'd pay them for it and go on.
These cities are saying, oh, you'll get what you want.
But you do have a trailer truck, don't you?
We have tankers, yeah, but this is a lot easier than tankers. Cause I could transport.
But you're not depending on somebody else to do it if you got your own water.
But if there's a hydrant or there's a source of water, I don't have to do that. That was what we looked at. We even looked at the big 8,000 gallon tankers, but I've got to break a truck off to haul it up there.
And then the flow is always, because there's hydrants that David test, you could, in Pleasant, they're not much more than our garden hose. Their hydrants are terrible in
And
some
then you got
places.
some here that you can about fight the fire without hooking to a truck.
Without hooking to a truck.
We'll figure out where the swings are.
Yep.
They're supposed to be.
Well, they've got those all around the county, or a lot of places, don't they, running the real water to
The
the hook
13
stuff?
hydrants
Yeah.
are awesome. They're awesome.
I don't usually eat, but when I do, I eat.
Okay, you guy.
So, before we start, let's talk about the Dawson building, the Dawson house. You had worked up some ideas,
Yeah, and then
possibly, so my only question is, do we need the Dawson house in your opinion?
no.
And what's your?
You already know where I feel. No, we don't need it.
So, I did talk to, you saw him talking to Gary on the way out. we've never had, county's never had a property that value for resale and a house at the same. So he's looking at a possible, if we need to have another hearing or some type of hearing for that, to allow that, in city's authorization or something like that. He's looking into that. But my opinion is, and as well as everybody else's, is that we go ahead and I'll make a motion that we put the Dawson house up for sale. And we'll offer it to the highest bidder, which is what we think we have to do, not auction. Highest and best offer. And Gary is looking in on if there's any other legal stuff that we have to do prior to that. And then we'll post that in the paper. And,
I still think it was a really good buy for us though. I mean, I know we're not all about making money, but
I wondered, like, can we have an open house for, in case somebody wants to come look, you know?
we can do all that. I don't want it to go into the paper yet this week. I want it to go in next week. Once Gary looks up the legal stuff, once you can figure out, because there's some legal stuff that he was gonna look in on.
Yeah, you don't want what to go in the paper,
And add that the house is for sale.
because you're making a motion, it's going in the minute.
No, that's in the minutes, it's fine, but advertising the house is actually, you can come and bid on it, right?
Yeah, I think there's probably some things we gotta discuss before we get an ad out.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
should a real estate company come in and nothing? No.
We have an attorney and he does it for, that's what he gets paid for.
Is there any way to?
What would be the reason you couldn't auction it off?
I think it's just bad perception. We just let
You
it.
always got a chance to raise your bid that way.
Yeah, but if you get the highest and best offer and a sealed bid, and we can talk about it. But I think that's the right way to do it for the county
I
purposes.
think there are some statutory requirements when it's a county selling the property that we have to follow, which is what Gary.
Gary thought that was the right way to do it too. Well, let us look into that more and more, but I think that's the way we're gonna have to do it. Anyway, so,
So you got a motion to sell it to the highest bidder.
right.
Is there any option to set like a low number? I mean,
Well, we always have the right to refuse.
You do, okay.
Yeah.
First right of refusal on
I
the
say
bid,
if somebody
I think,
bids,
but
if your high bid's below what you be paid,
Sure,
then maybe you wanna,
no, you've always done that off.
So you've got the motion.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that one's done.
okay,
Come back in 2 weeks, Jeff.
did you get it on, you did? Everyone?
Okay, so what I wanted to do with this workshop is, we haven't ever done a workshop before, is to find out what we have in our buildings, what projected, if we want to keep it, what we have to do to upkeep it. And then two is, do we even need them at all? Take them off the inventory. And even though we come to some conclusion today, we probably still need to talk to Gary to make sure we're not getting rid of something that's maybe not ours that we don't know about, because there's somebody has a certain right to it. And like the state building out there, in Lacey, where the water department's at, kind of an issue there. Not that we were trying to get rid of that, it's just, I'm just saying, it's kind of owned by us, but if we give up that possession, it becomes the property of the water user there, we're part of the one, I think that's it there. And the property in Lacey where the ambulance is, that belongs to the township, it's not ours, we lease it, and there's different things, so. Anyway, so the fire, let's just go down the list, your fire station in Blue Mound. You put it in fair condition, you can just kind of base it on what?
When I walk through the scene and work with them, work orders,
Okay.
that's just my opinion.
So, just go down, we'll probably go down, it's not too fast, we can go down and, we obviously need that building. And the senior center in Blue Mountain, where we have it.
It's a fair shaped building. It's like I said, here's a picture. I had pictures of some of the building. That's our repair.
Are we using it?
Yes.
How many people do we have on average of using those buildings? I
Not
mean,
very many.
in each town?
They were used for congregate meals, and we were doing Meals on Wheels out of there. Now we're not doing Meals on Wheels. Out of
People lease it, and we don't let them do that until COVID kind of,
So how many people are congregate meals actually eating there?
don't know.
10?
At least 5.
5?
That actually eat there every day?
And I've been there pretty often.
And there's probably no other viable place they could eat there.
Not Blue Mound.
So the Blue Mound shop. Talk about that. Well,
That, it is nothing short of a disaster. It is needed. Here's some pictures of what we're looking at. It is, of course, remember back when we did the budget, I asked for 100,000 to start fixing some of these buildings up.
yeah, this is all county stuff in there.
That looks like good.
Now, that might be an old picture too, but I was looking for the condition. But the condition is what I'm, not the content, the condition.
You won't get the hamburger, man.
That is- I think,
Don't stick your hand over there.
can we inject any humor at all in this?
Oh, we,
Let's rip up the wall, help you find the lights.
Yeah.
All that
I've never been to the Blue Mound shop. So.
What's in there right now besides that stuff?
bladed, we park a blade, dump truck, small amount of equipment in there.
Is there anything that really need to do to it besides cleaning up the mess that looks like it's in there?
The insulation, ceiling, painting. Doors need to be refurbished. The doors.
This
But
seems pretty
if it's
simple.
just for storage, do we really need all that in there? I'm being pessimistic. I mean, if you just park the truck, as long as it's got a good roof.
Let me ask you this, and I'm just asking, why couldn't we centralize everything out of Mound City? I mean, is it,
Just the drive down there.
it's a drive?
Yeah.
You can get there faster to pick up.
Mm-hmm.
If the guy works there.
Picking stuff up, we've got a blade now, there used to be 2 blades running out of there. And I put one in Centerville, because it was the middle of his district, so he parks it outside the fire department.
And there's a 1,000-gallon fuel tank.
It's more or less. So, how much do we have in the insulation and all that? I mean, do we have? Is it a $5,000 deal? We can get that thing up in good shape.
Estimated out, but we're talking about, to do it right, would be strip all the insulation out, put new in, paint the building.
But is there anything in there that needs to be out of the weather? I mean, is there caulking paint that can't freeze, or is it? Can we just put some
Well, they run
caulk?
an office out of there, it's, I don't know, it's hard to say.
But I mean, it's like
It's
Pleasant and
location.
Barn.
It's location.
Well, I see a lot of places, a lot of counties like Miami County will have their blades sitting right out in the open. I mean, it takes place right there on
Yeah.
Hedge Lane Road.
Some of the operators take them home, Bourbon County, they all run out of their house.
We do. I mean, Parker and Centerville both sits.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I don't know.
You're talking about like deadheading the equipment.
Yeah, instead of a building, I mean, if,
Yeah, I will say the building structure seems fine. I've been up in the bones. Personally, I just peel all that damn insulation out of there. They keep that office heated.
as long as they got their heated
Yeah,
office,
the
what's the
heated
matter for
office,
the rest
and
of
it
it?
keeps the plumbing from freezing.
Is there a fabric that's holding? Is it bag insulation? Fabric's holding it up in there?
It's just all.
I think cut out the bad and leave
I
it.
think it got like condensated and just the weight.
Well, it sweats on the backside of tin. Whenever you insulate tin like that, it sweats on the backside, and then after 30 years, or probably that might be 40 years old.
What about the Blue Mound trash compactor? Is there anything going on with that?
I don't think that's any pictures of it. No, it's, okay, the one thing about the compactors, all of these compactors, we own the equipment, we own the building, except Pleasanton, there's 2 buildings, they put a new one in. So we own all the buildings, we rent the land they sell.
We rent the land for them to sit on it
Yeah.
from the city that we're providing it to.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Okay,
What?
There's a reason.
here's some more reasoning with that.
Exactly.
The cities hire the employees to run those. So they're using rent money we give them to help pay the employee. and
Fair enough.
We don't have to worry about.
Okay, that's fair enough, I guess. Well,
Having them on our plans and I think that's how it got started.
The contract calls that we also have to provide a phone and
Electricity.
Yeah.
Well, they got a landline or what?
I would,
No, we've been
Just a
cell
cell phone?
phones, and anytime we can get an IP phone in one, because that don't cost us nothing, because they don't use them.
What is it, just a little flip phone type,
Yeah.
just, you buy it monthly or whatever? or you-
Exactly.
Contract that was written in 1977. Specified.
I wish that we could make it, well, I guess that has nothing to do with this, but it's more the cities, they're employees. I know over here in Mountain City, I think that guy's pretty good at getting out and helping people, but Pleasanton, man, and people call me about that all the time.
I'll tell you
Like,
what, this kid down here is really good. I mean,
Yeah,
I
you guys.
mean,
We got an 80
Dave
lady
was,
throwing trash away. Nobody gets out and helps her because he's 90 in the garage or in the barn.
Dave was good too, but this kid down here to me is,
The kicker of it is all of these sites, need new fencing around them. It's all 40, 50-year-old fencing. Some of them need moved out a little bit, so the bins that are bigger. The only,
That's the thing, and I just real touched on it, you know, you put those fancy trailers in there, and then they can watch the one lacing, I'm just giving it lacing, but on the cardboard side, they can't see, and then the metal side, we've got everything glued up. Yeah. But you can imagine if it's half empty or whatever, like, nobody looking, they're talking. And then that's why Wes's and all them got so bad, because they were
Just all mixed and,
mattresses or
Yep.
whatever, get away with it, because wild bill's not gonna go out.
well, one of the things, when it's down the list, but when we get to
Can I
the
see that?
press kit, pardon?
Can I see that?
The press kit contractor, I don't understand why we have it.
In town?
I never understood that. But let's talk about Blue Mountain. Does the building have to be rebuilt, the office, or is it?
They're all in,
their little building is the worst of all of them.
they're all in horrible.
So they're like
You can
10,
reach through the.
10 by 12, they just stand in.
In Pleasanton? Or in Prescott?
Yeah.
Where's it at?
Lacey.
now is the two bys all okay? Is it two by, I'm sure it's got two bys on the ends
Yeah,
for walls.
basically, those were like a stick built, just a 2x little shed. For the most part, this is what Pleasanton did. They just bought one of them skid sheds.
Yeah.
Yep, slid it in there, and off they went.
Well, and the one in Lacey's pretty, we just need to.
Now, the tricky part with replacing any of these buildings is they are all like 723 phase power to run those big compactors, and there's transformers in them and
Hanging
stuff.
off the side.
It's not something that even, just a general, hey, I'm just gonna unwire this and put it back. It's high voltage.
Which Pleasanton wanted to do. They wanted to relocate their trash compactor for.
Yeah, and that's the reason they have two buildings, because they left the power in our building.
Pay insurance in one of these buildings if you want to get
Okay.
it at some point too. This is real small, hard to read, we can do that, but front and back, we try to blow it up.
All right. Why are we paying insurance on if when we went for the hail damage, they said if it's under 100,000, we don't cover anything. So why are we paying if they're not gonna? They didn't even want to look at the smaller buildings because they're not $100,000 value.
But we're paying insurance on everything plus this.
Or they didn't want to look at the cabins, they didn't want to look at the.
We need to address that, sounds like.
Pardon?
I mean, do we need to address that? I mean, is that money we're spending on?
Yeah. So, just in the future, does the Blue Man trash compactor office need to be repaired or replaced?
Place.
I
think it's
I
cheaper to
would
replace.
say replace. It is bad.
And all I ask is put a note down for it, and then later on, we'll come back and talk about it. These things are going to be replaced. And you know, from Centerville, that building's been worked on a few times, hasn't it?
It's the old school building. It's actually pretty good.
They did some work on it a few years ago, didn't they?
Yeah.
They totally remodeled that.
Okay. In the Centerville Lagoon, you put in excellent condition.
Yeah, that's not that old. In fact, it's underutilized.
And that's the one where, is it serving
The sewer district.
Yeah, serves the whole sewer. How many sewers are on that? Or how many?
Like subscribers.
Yeah.
Is that everything?
How many? I wouldn't think there's over 30, is there? How- Yeah.
There, because.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
So I'm not sure how many is on.
Fire Station 930 in Centerville. Says,
Cool.
there.
It's just a storage place, really, isn't it?
Yes.
So,
Senior Center in Centerville was a very popular place to eat.
They still have a lot of people show
And
up.
that's in the old school too, right now. It used to be down there on Main Street on the little, didn't they do it there at one time?
Did they? Maybe. This is now at the top of the hill.
They do have
Yeah.
10 or 12 people. And I was in there one time looking over the building. And, yeah. And it does need repairs on that side, but,
Need repairs?
yeah, but you already got that.
Yeah, we got
That's,
You got that? Center rail compactor. Go ahead.
This is the biggest here.
Poor condition.
actually looks really
They're the
good.
same. They're all, were put in there in 1970s. Insulation, some of them are insulated.
What are they, 10 by 10s?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're pretty small.
They're
We probably
it's enough
could
for a
use-
person to sit in
Right.
that control box.
That's all you need, really. I mean, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah, you don't need more. I'm just laughing because of the one we got.
Now, I haven't been in that one. Has it got like holes in the wall, like we're mounting stuff? Or?
Pleasant had a nice little, when they set that, come out of it.
Because, you know, some of that could be.
Really?
that's what I'm saying. Could we go in and redo the inside of it with some,
we could, but the insulation, and the rod boards, all the siding needs to be replaced on. We've talked about it, but we haven't done anything. Mainly trying to find a manpower to rebuild these. We have repaired some of them, but they're pretty bad shape.
So you said the deal we have with all these haven't been rewrote since 1970?
1977. In fact, I ended up finding.
power deal is gonna be a big deal, trying to get all the power off of it. That's gonna be a,
That's why
wanted to
I would hesitate.
move the
replacement.
Right.
We said that's
I would
I'd rebuild is what I would think, because you could spend a few more days repairing, because you could talking that electricity, it's gonna cost you money to get somebody to come in there and go to unhooking that stuff.
And that's a,
And even if you just like smart sided it like they did the cabins at the park and stuff, I don't know.
yeah. So we just said doing that.
So we know we need to do something to these buildings.
Yeah.
Are we content with the compactor agreements we have? I mean, do they need to be re-talked about? I mean, it's been 1970s last time we talked about it. I mean, just how everything's going with them. I mean, how we do things and,
That's a larger question because we're gonna have to consolidate all this.
Here's what I like the thought as a taxpayer that I can take my trash, and if I thought about like Lewisburg and wheels, and they're wheeling their little thing out there every Tuesday or whatever, and they got 3 bags, and they got extra, I don't know if Lewisburg does it, but most places do charge extra for those. I like the opportunity of being able to take my trash
Any day of the week.
any day of the week, almost. There's always a site open even when one's closed, or somebody open. The thought of being able to get rid of the trash.
Sale, I mean, Miami County is the way theirs is.
Oh, I know.
I don't like that. I've worked
So
up there.
I like
no, and I do too. I mean, the agreement that we talked about in 1970, because, I mean, when, is electricity up to par? I mean, are we going to have to start getting into that stuff where we're going to be spending hundreds of thousands repairing them, all of them?
Great question. I know that there's 2 sites that the electricity is what they call grounded B-phase, 3-phase power, which is so old that it's very dangerous. And the reason is the actual install is not dangerous. It's when somebody that doesn't know what they're looking at, it looks like 220. And if you get in there, you're actually 3-phase 740 is what's flowing through. And, but
I
like,
don't think you're understanding.
it will,
It's surely marked, and then it may not,
it is, but again, people that don't know, they open a panel, well, it looks like regular breakers. And we've actually had that happen. But they work fine. There is nothing wrong with the setup. And we checked at Parker about upgrading to a more modern, we'd have to replace the transformer, and it was thousands and thousands for just Evergy. Them to come in and put new lines in and change out the CT cabinet and everything was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so it was basically decided just
It sounds like so everything's under control. I mean, everything's flowing good and.
yeah. And as far as hooking up the equipment, 3-phase is 3-phase. You know, it's an
Right.
A, B, and a C phase. So to have somebody like if they had to replace the actual compactor, that's okay. It's the power coming in.
Well, and you know, over the time I've been here, we've talked about the contract, that the compactors themselves are so old, and that it's always something broken on one of them, it seems like, the cost of that. Have we ever looked into,
There is a company up in Kansas City that refurbishes. We're gonna look at that, but the kicker of it is they're not all the same.
Contribution,
because they're
that would
is
be.
there a new system that we
What the-
might need to look at eventually?
Oh,
Not now.
I mean, like
Okay.
to actually
Get the one-
consider if one fails completely to replace with.
Contribution.
I guarantee
Those are very, very old.
So just as an example,
Be efficient, everything else.
sheriff's office,
We're spending 4,000 a year on insurance.
Been exploring a lot of that, because we didn't have the funding.
Well, I mean, a great example would be, say, Tanglewood. The one Tanglewood put in is a brand new type of.
How does electricity bill there work compared to everywhere else? I
I don't
mean,
know.
that's something we could look
Tanglewood
at,
is
you know, I
separate
mean,
from us. So
you-
we don't
if-
have that agreement with Tanglewood.
but we could probably get a hold of
Yeah.
somewhere to see how much savings it is, is what I'm saying.
View with Tanglewood and Sugar Valley is and Linn, they provide the
Well,
equipment.
they seem $42 a year.
We dump it.
That's
and
yearly,
we
right?
Cover it under the umbrella of our licensing agreement.
And
We have
That's
to be
property, or that's
So they take care of everything except we dump. We supply
The
the
amount,
machine and we dump it
so
for them.
like the
Yes.
first one,
No.
7,000 on the building,
Oh.
4,000 on the contents.
Well, I don't know why
Spend
maybe they want the POA,
312 a year,
not
yeah.
the city. But since they weren't cities, they were willing to buy their own. And Tanglewood was a recent one, they did it only a couple years ago, right?
Yes, and I think if I remember right, Tanglewood bought one box, Linn Valley bought 1 or 2 boxes that they gave us. As, don't have a box for you. so-
And again, they didn't have to go through the KDHE license. They run under ours.
Under ours. That worked out well.
But we were really tight to make sure they follow their operation reports. I just got on Google about the reports, about everybody responding.
wow.
Ambulance barn lighting, it's not something that we can avoid for too much longer. We have to figure out a way to do something like that, it's in our building. So it's not like we can, I mean, if we could go down and just make all repairs, we keep doing it for somebody else.
What about that state building that Mike made up the plans for?
Like
Yeah,
what,
that's-
how much do we pay rent? I mean,
Hey, Dave, do you know how much you pay for the ambulance barn lighting?
It's right here.
Oh, for rent?
Yeah.
We don't pay anything.
We don't pay anything?
$1 a year.
$1 a year.
Pay $200 a year in insurance.
then we pay the utilities or?
Yes.
Yeah, we're paying
Paying all the stuff.
How much room's required for them? I mean, do they have,
They have 2 rooms, but one room, the bedrooms are adjoining.
I know, but I mean, if we was to do something, how big is there a requirement on size?
No, I don't.
I think the plan we looked at was 24 feet by 24 feet plus a 10-foot.
But how big is that building down there? How big is that?
Dave, do you have a copy of that blueprint that Mike made?
Yeah.
It's just
Do you, could you go get it? Could you print it off?
Right, but what I'm saying, what, if we was doing something, how big do we have to put, I mean, if we was doing something on our own?
Just 2 bedrooms.
Just
Yeah,
need
you
the
need-
2 beds and,
2 bedrooms, you need some type of kitchen facility, bathroom, and probably a little common area to use with office and living room space and that kind of thing.
does 1 bathroom do it for
I
me?
think
I mean, with 2 people, I mean,
Jackie's got a set of plans that was
Your ambulance bay, and that's gotta be heated and cooled, because there's stuff that can't get too hot or too cold for a long period in the.
And I think Mike did draw up something before. He.
Yeah, he went through
Right,
it.
I don't know how much money it costs. Another thing is, too, is there are double wides or single wides that you can put somewhere.
and then you just need a heated garage to go to this,
We got the garage already, the state
over at the state.
out there. And actually, I like the location better because it's in between Linn Valley and Lacey. It's at the edge of.
I know what you're talking about, yeah.
You know,
Out there by Stainbrook, I mean, just out past the,
What does Doug keep
It's
in?
now when you're in town, you've gotta get
Right
from
out
town
boats.
to get out to get it.
Yeah.
One of their rescue boats.
Which could go somewhere else?
It's
Two there.
it's
It's easy to get in there because
My thoughts is
More
that
Rural water.
if we empty
Linn
it out,
Valley, that's,
it goes to
instead
the.
of putting the back gate in at Taylor Road, I mean, access to emergency vehicles are so much faster. And people just want to get out during the day or something, they can lock them in at night, except for, you know, if there's an emergency, police can go in and lock. But, I mean, you're talking response time would be, well, you gotta go 3 miles around even from there. Instead of just cutting through. So, something to think about, working with maybe the city later on. City park, what do we do? City
He
park?
went to grab those drawings.
Yeah, you know, his desk.
He's supposed to print it off.
The fire station, I can talk about the fire station in Lacey. I've been over there a few times. They do a good job of keeping it up over there. And, I don't know, they've got other equipment parked in there as well.
They do, the city
The
is also in that same, yeah.
Yeah, and we've
Their
got an
equipment.
agreement with the city.
Yeah, fire truck.
I think they're providing or paying some of the utilities and they're.
The city and county sheriff barn for,
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure do.
and get this, and two-thirds of the county fire department over there, county or on the city.
On the city,
Yeah.
that's right.
We're at the Linn County Park.
Okay.
Dwelling.
There's a picture of
A
that.
dwelling, this is a house.
It's a house. And the house, the roof is gone. It's like we're looking at replacing it now.
Now, Dave, you probably can speak better than all of us, because you've been here longer. This house came about. It's right on the, you know where it's at.
Yeah, it was here, it was before I was here when this started.
Okay.
It was in the early seventies when it got.
where's it? I don't know.
At the time,
Where's
the
it at?
park manager
You know, like
lived there,
It's a house just before we.
and that's why we provided the house.
Beautiful.
On the same side that Ryan Walker lives on?
That's where he lived.
Yeah.
And then after Bruce retired, we didn't have anybody that was wanting to live in that house. So then for a while, we rented it out.
It's been rented ever since to the same guy.
And we have a rental agreement.
It's on the to-do list.
Is there any need of owning it?
They've never had.
Is there any need of owning it?
Is it on the, is it in our, is it on our actual property?
No, it's on the leased land.
What would it be
We
called?
don't own the
underneath
ground.
this?
See, it's- But we don't want to tear it down and let it go to hell.
And we do have income coming from.
We
He
pay
paid about $800 a month or something is what he's paying.
$250 a year in insurance.
I
on
don't
it.
know how you get
No, no, you don't own the ground.
tear it down, say we're not, we
I
can't
didn't,
tell it.
I didn't know that, but I mean, if you don't own the ground.
I didn't know we couldn't, I didn't know, I thought maybe it's on our property,
None of that's ours.
and we're positive of that.
Yes, but, good.
So you needed a new roof for that.
Yes, absolutely roof is.
What did the guy do to inside? There was something, he like, tore the floor or something. Remember that?
He subleased for a while.
Is that what it
He wouldn't
was?
do that anymore.
Okay.
Sounds like,
We talked, go ahead.
no, it sounds like just a lease agreement would be very
Yeah.
nice. in
We
that situation.
probably need to get one, right? Something, Gary can do that, I'll be thankful for that. We already talked about the fire station in Lacey, doesn't seem like we can do anything for that, this is going well. What's the vault square in Linn County Park, what's that about?
This is the one I wanted to just pull over.
It's down there by
When we
the,
get time.
that RC airplane.
It's the
thing.
horse park, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And you want to look at the regular port post, right?
Yeah.
Why they didn't do it in the first place?
So we're going to demo that in the near
Yeah,
future.
as soon as I get the tackle up there and come down. The problem with it
Is there anything salvageable on it?
All it's cracked. It's not whole, not-
That's,
What about the hole?
You can't get in there to fix it.
No,
I mean, fill it in.
I mean, you gotta fill it in,
It's just water.
just water.
Yeah, we'll pump it out and do it. We'll bring it, yeah, we'll pump it out, dump it, the water pumping into the
And
lagoon.
you're gonna put a port potty.
Yeah, we're gonna put a slab on top and put a small slab or set a porta potty right on.
Yeah.
We already got the slab.
It will blow away.
Yeah. I've seen those when they do them.
So do we have a lot of, do they go around monthly and clean, like Gherkin or whoever it is? We do have,
Contract.
Okay.
Yeah.
no, we don't own the porta pots. We're renting them.
No,
Do we rent them or lease
I
them?
think we own the ones for all the trash compactors have.
I know, I just wondered what we're,
That one, like, see, it looks like a 1977 port potty.
Yeah, but I was in one.
Yeah, it's got the, that's what the Parkers do.
so do we rent them and then do we rent them from somebody and then have a contractor? They pump them too and we rent from them? Okay.
Now, the truth is, I don't know about Lacey, and I'm sure it's that way, but like Parker, Centerville, she actually just goes into the fire station. doesn't she?
No, she has one there.
She goes to that
Very,
port.
very good shape.
Oh, okay.
Would it be cheaper? Well,
We're looking at buying them now.
why would it be,
Then you got service.
but then you still, the pumpers will do it.
Yeah, we're still saving money. Looking at them right now, 'cause we have a couple we bring in. if they're paying $150 a month, if we can get them cleaned for
20,
30 or
yeah,
40,
$25.
or paying $150 for the whole thing sitting there, it is a savings.
How many do we have scattered out across the
Oh, we
country?
got.
That's what
we
I'm
got
saying.
Chrysler, we got.
I know you got, how many do we have that way?
The shotgun company, the shit going.
We could do that.
I have my own porta potty for my construction company, and I bought it from Gherkin, is one of their used ones. It's in really good shape too, and I bought it for like $120. And then I have a guy that goes around wherever job site I am, I call him for $25. He shows up. I mean, I think we have a pretty
I
good
just
savings.
wonder what we pay, Gherkin, a month.
$150 probably per.
It's not real bad.
Well, it's not real bad, because it might be bad.
Like 30 or something
Is that to pump it though? That's just to pump it though.
per side.
Per site.
Yeah, times,
But how many
30.
sites is what I'm saying? I just,
A lot of running to get to park.
no,
Each one. And we're still, we're looking at it because it's coming back up real quick with the parts.
okay, so that might be an issue though, yes, you can talk about later, is the buying and servicing our own porta potties.
I got a picture of one on my desk where I've been researching, but I haven't got that one.
So we're removing the horse, the horse place.
Yeah.
And that's the same as the Volt one.
Volt,
The Volt and
The
the
vault toilet's different than the shelter house, horse camp.
the Volt we're removing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, the
Yeah,
Volt's
no,
removing, yeah.
okay.
It's a little metal.
oh, okay.
Then you have a shelter house that you got,
Does it need anything?
that's just shelter house, so there's no bathroom.
The shelter
So-
house?
Yeah, we got.
Does it need a lot of work? Or does it need preventive maintenance?
Now, is,
Jump the bathroom. Oh, shelter, I have.
is the shelter house the one at the RC side?
This is a shelter.
That's what you're calling the shelter house? Okay, because there's also that one right next to the vault.
Yeah, that's what you're calling
No, this isn't the shelter house. Shelter house is the little one down in the horse camp.
it. Yeah.
So which one is it when you're going into the lake and you see where that brown building is and you turn left to go there? What's the one to go straight on?
That goes down to the horse camp.
Okay.
That's
How many people use the horse camp up there? Do you have many? I mean, it's,
not a lot.
But do we upkeep anything or keep horse stables? I mean, and they pay, we don't keep nothing? Okay, good.
do we charge anybody to come ride or is it all free for,
Yeah,
they charge?
is it really charge people right?
Yeah.
I'm just asking.
Yeah, like the day use fee and stuff like that.
But it's not very much.
No, not very much, but the question, if they camp down there, we charge them an off-site or outbound camping.
Do
fee.
we maintain the trails?
Not very good.
Oh,
They were supposed to do it, but this agreement, who knows when, it's a gentleman's agreement from years ago.
And I can say that.
You know, what amazed me though, if you look at their brochure, the miles of trail they're supposed to have, it's like, where is this? Most people put-
what about the RC guys? I know that, I remember somebody told me we mow really, really short for them.
RC, yeah, what's that?
Because I-
The radio control airplane?
Okay.
They got a little airstrip down there?
Club and it's all-
Okay, so that's not,
I've never seen anybody
that's not a thing anymore?
on the RC strip anymore.
No, there's infighting in the club and it's just exploded.
What do we use the old bathhouse for there?
It's kind of an overflow
By the old pool?
and where people,
Just storage now?
Do they use the pool still? I mean,
No, building.
the pool's gone, huh?
Used to have pretty creepy people in there all the time. I didn't
What
know
happened?
that.
Just not upkept or what?
There was an issue with the drainage in the gutter that where the water, something about that, and it was gonna cost a lot of money to fix, so they just, you remember that, David?
liability for the.
On the pool, there was something wrong with the drainage, and then so they decided it was too much to do, they just filled it in and left it.
Yeah, I don't know what all the issues were, but there were problems, and then there's a huge liability issue with having a pool.
Yeah. Now, so what the bathhouse there, is it, what is it at the pool?
What are we calling it?
What do they use it
It's
for?
one up on the hill with the cabins.
One of them we paid
But they
306.
still
They
use
they open it up in the summer.
So they can
Use it for showers and stuff there, okay.
So everything is good all the way down to all of your cabins, and then you get to, unless somebody's got a question about the cabins.
And we're building a new one there, right?
Yes.
Nine?
Number 8.
Great. What about the park lagoon you put poor?
It's almost overloaded and hadn't been cleaned in years, but it still works.
So what do you mean by?
Someday we're gonna go in there and enlarge or, it's when the state tells us we have to do it, we'll do something. Right now we're just operating.
Cause it's a 3 cell.
Yes.
And they were discharging, I
Yeah.
mean, there was an issue with discharge, you remember that?
Yeah, but craziness of it is we can't discharge from there. And it's exactly the opposite. We can discharge with the one with tons of space, but the one that doesn't have any space, we can't discharge from. So it's pretty backwards.
So in these shelter houses, if we pay, I mean, one of them we pay $330 a year in insurance on.
We can talk about the down further, the open shelter house, the closed shelter house.
Okay, when we get there. All right.
We'll get there, yeah.
Pump house, looks like the maintenance building and the marina store. Marina store, do we need, I mean, anything there?
If we just repainted it,
Yeah.
to try to give it a fresh coat of paint and looks.
Okay. Then, the pump house in Golden County Park, you put 4.
Yeah. Yeah, losing track of where we are.
On the front page.
Yeah, which one am I thinking? They're confusing.
The pump house, the sewer.
Oh, that's the lift station.
Yeah.
The pump, yeah. Well, I'm thinking of a shelter house, I'm trying to get my
No.
brain around it. No, the pump house, that's the lift station. And it's obsolete, it's one you have to go down in. I'd love to see it raised up above, the pumps are old technology, we had lots of repairs on those.
And that would cost a lot of money.
That would cost $50,000-$60,000, so we're gonna limp as far as we can, as long as we can.
What about the open shelter house, Linn County Park?
It's fair or it's good even, it's been repainted, it's in good shape. Fairly good, fairly decent shape.
And then the next one,
The enclosed one's a nightmare.
where's that one at? Is
That's
that
the one that's across from Marina Lane.
Yeah.
The problem is the roof here, this needs a new roof, it's the two buildings, one's the dwelling and this one. The roof this is all rotted away here, all that needs replaced. You can see some of the conditions on it. It's gonna require a roof, the other thing, the old way of doing, the new way of doing, they built these three big massive chests that you open up in the summer. They're held up by a chain. That chain ever broke, it'd kill anybody.
Now, does a lot of people use the enclosed one? For what, to eat in, or what are they,
Oh, they'll bring troops in,
are they, they're not air conditioned or anything, they just,
but the roof needs replaced, the inside is done. Yes. Leaking, it's rotted, so that was one of the ones we were gonna try to do something like this year. I was hoping by contract to do the roof and some of the fascia. And then I got a work order out for,
We just recently upgraded the power to that,
yeah.
so it's got brand new power on it too.
What we really need to do is take all the shutters out. And put windows in there. The shutters are good.
Raise.
Yes, those are horribly, now if we upgraded that, it's gonna make it even more
What about-
appealing to the groups that are using it. But there's those big shutters that give you.
What about just like small pull down like garage, like those little doors,
Something
like over
that.
a concession
Anything
stand?
other than that. Those shutters takes two people and then you barely get them up there to chain on them. Just the old style building.
There you
Okay, last on your list is Quonset Hut on this page. Salt storage, those are those igloo ones,
Here's one of those shutters.
go. It says poor. I thought we just redid that or just got that.
they're enclosed shelter houses.
you got
No, I mean
good shape and one in poor shape, but
these aren't the same thing we just bought recently.
No.
Yeah,
No, I got pictures here.
no, which ones? Good.
So Lakeview had one, and
Yeah.
we added.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We added more than one, didn't we?
Here's the one we're talking about. And a few years ago,
Yeah, you bought some more, right?
yeah, we bought something.
Do not
Still
replace
out
the
there,
canvas?
but that's the big one. And we're getting ready to replace the canvas on it because the kids love to poke holes in it. You can see the patches. They haven't done it in years, but when they
I
first
used to
put
do
up,
that stuff.
it ripped them off. So at the end of its life,
Yeah, the chain like a concession stand. Yeah.
so But the hoop buildings, I got those, yeah, been putting those up.
That's these shutters that he's talking about.
Man, how did I miss it?
So is the closet not leaking?
Yes,
So it's got holes in it, so if I put back the same thing, why wouldn't the kid poke it in?
they have not done it in years. They've left it alone. We'll get Chris to put a camera up there.
That always
He had graduated.
Those are pretty cheap too. Those roll-up doors.
That might be an option.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah,
They, like those,
yeah.
We won't be able to work with you the rest of the week.
$200 for a roll-up door. That's how. I mean, that's.
All right, page 2, let's get down this list. Once in that number 2 in Lacey, the hoop house.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. Let's just go down to any, as we go down the list, let's just look at the pour.
That's a real water sport. we're talking
This is the one, Jim, we're talking about.
Across
There
from
at the state building,
Yeah.
putting a property next to.
at Senior Center across from Lace Casey's. I thought that was a grocery store.
Build stick built thing.
The Senior Center in Lacing, it's across from.
Yeah, either
I
are.
thought that was a grocery
And
store.
they could back the ambulance or pull, or back the ambulance in there and it'd fit.
Yeah.
And they're heated.
And that whole thing's heated and
Oh,
air conditioned too, I guess.
No, I don't
yeah.
think it's near.
About there by the funeral
I
home.
think we even looked at one point if we would
Casey,
close off
then
one
you
of the
turn
bays,
to go
go
north,
north bay, which we're not.
right
If
Oh.
if he could just make that into. a
Okay, and then you got the library over here.
Property, and I think there was some
I
reason
think,
why.
what was it this, well, there's a sewer, there's something to do with the
Something to do
sewer.
with sewage.
Yeah.
Anyway. That's completely off the table.
Here's touch down here so you can see that.
No, this is just, what was the cost on it?
I want to say it was like we were figuring like 125,000 or something, or 90,000,
That was the drawing if he's building one, yeah.
or putting it in that building.
Oh,
See, you would tie that to this breezeway is between the two buildings, so the smokers, which they are killing us in these buildings. And
Wait.
And the pets.
the
Oh my
pets,
God.
you let pets in them?
We don't, they do.
they do.
They
And I
poop
tried to
all
get
over everything.
Smoke inside the building?
It's horrible. Centerville is unbelievable. You don't want to go in there.
Man, you can't, I mean,
They got cats.
I can show you the email where I sent it to him at AMR. I said, I'm concerned about your animal over there. There are comfort animals. Those guys work long shifts. And I said, yeah, but we're shutting doors to keep out of the senior center. If you
There
don't
was-
stop,
Well, and because Jackie knows the story, there was like a kitchen or this outside area. That was the litter box. They just put the animals in there, let them do their business, and left it. And
Well, that's the
for
first word.
a couple of years.
Needs to stop.
Oh my God, it was
the
so
smoking
bad.
does too.
It was
Well, yeah.
I mean,
they're smoking in those garages.
the smoking's gotta stop.
We'll just have,
I mean, that's just,
they know.
I got a request for a new cabinet. I said, why do you need a new cabinet? Because the cabinet down low, the cat can get in the food, the dishes, and we want to be able to put, I said, get rid of the damn cat.
that's a liability issue for them for having a pet on the place.
We can eliminate that. That's easy.
Well, and I'll be on the Centerville cat thing. The problem was they kept leaving the door open, and then the cat would get over in the senior center.
The one time I was there, it was over there in
Yeah,
the senior
and
center.
the ladies over there are pissed because they're trying to COVID clean everything for the, and they come in there and cat did its thing and all that. Anyway,
I think
we
there's
told
a
them to keep shutting the door. But
situation like that at landfill too. That
Yeah,
they've been told to
I
remove
wish I had known that. We need to put a letter.
one cat, and they had a cat.
It's our building.
And I was talking about the landfill, they had a cat, but also. Yeah,
Yeah, cats running right outside, I don't care. I really don't.
You can't stop out.
Well, there was cat.
Probably
There
not
was
a bad thing.
there was cat stuff. Feces on the ground on the inside that I saw the picture of. So, and Jackie's already we had already talked about it.
Get rid of them, they're all gonna be hauled away.
Well, to me, I'll tell you what, having them in the ambulance barn, that isn't no place for them. I mean, we need to put a stop to it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's cat and smoking both that needs to go.
Yeah, I go into those buildings, I went into that, Lacine one the other day, and they've been smoking in that garage, and just, they think the garage is okay, they're out in the garage.
I don't
Because it's cold and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like in the one in Pleasant, we have stuff up there, don't we? I mean, some of our stuff.
In the bay there too.
Yeah,
Well, we need to
I
read.
don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah. Here's a hoop house. We've got two more we're gonna move somewhere. I was thinking about putting one next to there, but, or both of them over there at Pleasant.
We got 6 of those, didn't we?
7.
7 of them?
How many ton will each one of them hold? I mean, I just wonder how much. Do we got enough to you buy it in the summer, you said, so we got enough storage to for even a good winter? I mean, if,
Yeah. I would still like to get a couple more because they're there. I gotta move them out of the airport. They're done at the airport.
Okay. Let's look at the port, unless somebody's got questions or why you get rid of the building.
The senior center leasing. That's
Not in poor. How's that in poor condition?
how is the Fairgrounds Lagoon pour? What, I don't know. I mean, that thing's not that old. What's it?
It wasn't built
It
right.
ain't built right?
It's got massive trees in it, but it's not our problem, but it's on our list.
Right.
We help them,
Yeah.
but they're wanting us to go in there and dig it out. And, you know,
That ground's wet down there anyway.
We
Nothing
pay insurance
raised.
on it?
No, it's not even ours, but you couldn't get very many more wrong things in the construction of it. I think John had last time, years ago.
I can tell you that, going back to where we were, senior center in Lacine is a building that was built by a bunch of people from Lacine at the time. They generated money, they built the building, they had, like everybody in those days, they had a big following there, and all that stuff has just died off, and they couldn't afford the taxes, or afford whatever, they up to none taxes. They turned it over to the county with the condition that a certain group of people, ladies, take care of that property. Get to come in and have their little social gathering once a week. That little group, because of COVID, now that was down to about 3 or 4 laws left. So I intentionally kept that until they're just about done with it completely before we got rid of that building, because
You're not even using it now, right? I mean, you guys.
that's really,
pretty much the meals get taken there and then distributed from there.
yeah, I still get distributed there.
Yeah,
but-
nobody eats
So
it.
we still have that agreement with that little group, and that's a really small group now, they still have a bit there.
And does the new facility at the library impact that at all?
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? Because the library, it's a beautiful thing. It's,
Going over the parks like
It is. yeah. And that kitchen they built and stuff. it
Now,
is-
could you would the library allow you to distribute your meals out of their building? Or
They're
not?
afraid to, because, they don't want anything to do with their program. They can provide fried chicken and potatoes and all that stuff, and they're afraid if they allow that in there.
Oh, they're cooking.
Oh,
Oh, I didn't
no,
know
they
that.
have a whole kitchen.
I didn't. I seen the kitchen. I didn't know what they
4 or
were.
5 stoves.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
big
it's a
facility.
beast.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I don't know how they got it.
I
Yeah.
think somebody told me that was grant money or something. Somebody
About
said,
50 years, they have 40, 50, 60
yeah,
people.
that's what they told me.
Yeah, it's a beautiful facility.
But yeah, so eventually that building needs to, it'll get going somewhere, but I'd like to hold on.
Do
to it.
we own it?
We do own it,
We do own it.
but we do have an agreement with them. We can say that at all.
I mean, there's no value to the ambulance with that building.
Nah. There's nowhere, you'd have to build more.
A garage or something.
Built them. Door shop, what's wrong with door shop?
It needs to be refurbished and the installation and such, but it's still functional.
I think they had, attorney community correction, what's that?
Yes. That's the one that we emptied out.
What's it look like on the inside? And what, is this,
It's not bad.
you can go look and see if it's big enough, I guess. Did you figure it
For
out?
us or for
For you
the
guys.
assessors?
For you guys?
I mean, probably.
Because let's see,
But
here's the thought on where we're at with this building. This building was originally gonna be torn down. And then all the chaos with money and all that, COVID and all that. I'd say it's gone if you're gonna have a new facility here. If that building's full service.
I think, what's that?
Go ahead.
I think that the appraisers would be better in there, my
Well, that's
opinion.
fine.
So, but let me give, if I can, this is the one reason I really wanted to.
Yeah.
That building is junk. I have been under it. I have been in its attic multiple times, and it is full of mold.
I,
in that attic.
me and Rick went over there. I didn't, I guess I got to look better because I didn't see it. The only issue I saw with it was the popcorn ceiling. It needed to be, tore off or, scraped off and, new paint, and that was about it.
The flooring is all. I mean, it's a double wide that's been brick.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
I think it's a modular, because if you look.
Either way, the damn thing was brought in three.
Yeah, it was brought in
Yeah,
two
but
pieces.
it was bricked, and know what they're.
Is there it got new HVAC and everything on it, doesn't it?
it
Newer.
Yeah.
What?
And we took the,
I'll actually get up underneath that and look at the foundation. I mean, that's what I do for a living. So
But you haven't looked at, see, we still got whole district court building, it's gonna be vacant.
so I went and looked at last week, Rick and I talked to the appraisers and mapping and everybody. What's your plan for who do you got in that right now?
what I was thinking,
It's empty.
all the bricks.
Right, that's what I was thinking too.
Here's the old, just ignore the writing on here, but here's basically the district court. We were gonna put public works
All the way around it.
all the way around it, and here was gonna be not the restroom, they changed that, oops, I'm back. Here, one of these executive session room, one of them would be my office, and then we would put Pam down there as well.
Where
So we
the-
would have Pam.
Where were you thinking, Pam? Where were you thinking, Pam? So whenever I was looking at it, I was thinking Pam over there where the clerk ladies are. Right beside the
Where
vault.
the vault is.
Oh, yeah, somewhere.
Is that kind of what,
Yeah.
and it sounds like we're on the same page. That's what I went over there for last week. And what's there, 7 or 8 offices from there on around?
Yeah, this has got writing on it, but this is a large office, I think, Courtney. And yeah,
Because it was, and the only reason they had objections to being in there was because of all their file cabinets and stuff. But I think in that
yeah,
room,
fireproof vault.
on this or in that,
Oh, and
no.
this, we're talking about this.
Yeah, in this building, I think it'd work good for him. Isn't the very back of that, or to the east or to the west, isn't it a bathroom between that big back office?
Danny Nation actually has a big drawing that he's fixed up on that courtroom or the court that he's actually showed me, the way he's got it even broke into offices.
Where at?
Danny,
I mean, where, which building?
the judicial building, the court building.
Oh, yeah, it's this thing here, I've been but the thing about it is, no modifications.
No modifications at all, just move into it.
Yeah.
Other than probably where the commissioners meet, I think, the court.
Commissioners.
I think that's on wood. We just pull it out where the judge sits.
Oh, yeah, probably.
That's just on wood. Yeah, we put David. See, so we could just utilize that building as is. I don't see any, the roof, I would double check on that.
So would that be where the courtroom is? Is that the courtroom yet?
Yes.
Yeah.
So what would be in there? Nothing?
Us.
Do we need that bigger room? I mean,
Oh, that means.
that's what I don't know.
It's smaller than that,
It might be, but I'm just saying, I don't.
bigger than this, but
Well,
not.
I mean, we'd have a little tiny area so people could sit and then we'd be out on the
We got
floor.
chairs and stuff.
Yeah.
But that building, and I've been up on that roof too, Jackie. I was over there the day that it flooded. So what's happening on those, the way it sets out like this, the gutter's built into this,
Yeah.
and what happened was yeah. So the gutter, there's like this little screen right here where the water's supposed to go in, and it got clogged up. But then so when it backfilled or when it flooded, the bottom of this metal is even with the lintel of the window, and there's probably no flashing or anything. So whenever we pulled that off, weren't you there too? Yeah, when we pulled that off, water was they have it sealed off really good because that thing held water and it really just flew, it just flooded right
Come
into
down the
it.
wall, huh?
If it had proper flashing where each window is, I don't think that we'd have a flooding issue ever again.
Brian's shame about it is, it wasn't the first time. They did that 20 years
So-
ago, the same thing, and nobody fixed it 20 years ago, so it happened again.
So on this side, before I left, we went through and we put little holes for weeps so that if it ever happened again, I went around to this other side on this side and it was already done. It's already
Digging
flooded.
holes same way every
They
time.
did,
It's gonna be
yeah.
the same hole.
So they'd already done all the pilot holes for it to drain. So
But the Public Works and Pam and all of her operation and you guys would fit into this report.
that's exactly what I was thinking too.
And that leaves only if the appraisers would go there, if they wanted to go in there, if we could, we might have to clean it up some.
I'm just saying, I hate that bill.
I can get
And working in it and oh my God. The other thing the county attorney also always had a trouble with, so did community corrections, was wheelchairs. Those doors are these weird sized, narrow doors. They're not normal size.
so we
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, we could put a 36-inch door on that easy.
Cut out the brick or whatever they do. I mean, obviously. But
I'm saying this is better than trying to build
But the options, other than this building, county right now, other than Bunker Hill,
right, I mean, if there was some way to like replace the building, because I know you get where I mean, yeah.
But you got where
I'm
at.
trying to. I am. But we're gonna have to
That money is just not there.
we're gonna have to redo all of the systems. We pulled the fire alarm. All the network has been just cut.
So that means you got to get it back underneath that where you don't want to go.
Lay fiber back up to it. There's gonna be a lot to get it system ready in that,
What did we do? We just took it out? Why?
because it was gonna be demolished.
We had to we had to bid it and take it, brush it off.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, let me ask you this. What's the jail building like? I mean, is it any use at all? Is there anything there that we could use for anything?
We've pretty much determined,
Is it just, I'm just asking. All I'm doing is talking.
yeah, that's what we're here, that's.
I would say by the time you wrote a contract to tear all the jails out, redo the HVAC system so it will transfer the air and not have the mold problems that it's been. I think you'd be better off with a modular or something if you brought one in, anything other than rebuilding.
And I had talked to the engineers and architect about that too, about maybe taking just the jail part off and utilizing it for offices. And they didn't think that it was structurally stable enough to do any of that. So we didn't, I mean,
Yeah, I think I don't know if he did it or not. Didn't the architect, David, do you remember if he actually did a study on what it would cost? If we wanted to keep
I
the
think
jail,
there was one.
and it was pretty up there.
I think it was, because I do recall the conversation. He had a drawing which had clerk and treasurer in it and what it would cost to rehab that facility.
And you're talking about
Because it was going to be a complete tear off. They're going to rip the roof off and replace it.
the only way to stop that moisture in there.
So if we did what you're saying, you guys, if we did find a way to remodel this to where it should be, and we have to do very little for this, you're thinking.
Right.
Is there anybody left outside the bottom floor over there in the courthouse?
Well, community corrections is going over there, right?
yeah.
Because they were in here.
No.
Well, they're
Didn't they change it?
No, they're going back. They're still going over
They
there.
are still
Yep.
going over? Okay.
Yep.
Because there was a discussion of sticking them in the garage at the Dawson at one point.
And the
That's why I
detectives,
didn't.
yeah, the detectives are going over
And that was when we were trying to get the footprint smaller. But yeah, that's why. Yeah, we got that. Yeah, they're going over
Right now,
there.
We're renting space in the, I call it the pool hall, pool house entrance.
Don Pool's office.
We're renting offices for the detectives. We've got community corrections in that little building.
The F&M building. The
And
one
then
that
we
used to
have
be a
the county
attorney's
attorney
office.
and the bank.
That union.
That's all that we have farmed out.
So honestly, if we wanted to, we could get started on, if it's gonna work out.
Mhm.
We could get started on this building, redoing it. And get them out of where they're at.
We could gut it as far as find out if there is an issue up
We need to
above.
find out how much it's gonna cost to do it all.
Yeah.
Well, it is modular construction, so
Yeah,
it was put into two sides, two parts, came in on a trailer. I'm told to, I mean,
it's better than the trailer you did.
Oh, way better than that. Yeah. Yes, it was better than
you
that.
could probably use this section over here for IT.
Remember, guys, you can't spell shit without IT.
So,
So you want a estimate or review of this and bring back next week? The viability
yeah,
of
it'd have to be next week.
uh,
How much it's gonna cost? Do we need to put new windows in?
Some of the windows are very new, like down at this end, they're all brand new.
Yeah.
Whatever. Gotta have new paint stuff on the inside, new ceilings.
and I'd like to throw a tape.
Is it knock, is it drop down ceiling or
No,
is it knock down?
It's all, it's just that spray on the texture.
Texture. We can get rid of that, but knock down or something.
So with all that, back to our offices on the first floor of the old courthouse building, what all?
Yeah.
We need to look at what all we need to do.
Yeah, I think so, 'cause I think that's where we're kind of going at, isn't it? If we keep everybody on the ground floor, what's it gonna cost to?
Heating and cooling is horrible in there, their building has issues, it doesn't qualify for ADA.
I know it doesn't.
At it now, there's issues there.
But at this point, I mean, if everything went perfect, which we probably will, we'll have the money out of the contingency fund, plus the sale of the property, to work with those, to do some repairs, probably almost $1 million total.
And then there's tax credit. We've got to,
But
we
the
100%
thing on the
qualify.
tax credit, does it even apply to government agencies though?
100% does, yes.
It does?
But
But my question on that, because I've been wondering this, like, we don't pay tax, so how do we get it?
I don't know. I can't answer that.
Oh,
one.
okay.
But I know that, so we have the second oldest operating courthouse in the state of Kansas. So anything that's on the registry, national registry, is, you qualify for it. That little house over here, two buildings down, it does too. And I was actually going to go do work on it, and they called me over it. So there was a garage door, and they went and they said, "Danny, you can't do that. You can't just go in there and do whatever you want because it's on the registry." I said, "Well, actually, I can." She's like, "No, they get credit, so you need to do it." I just opted out of doing the job because I have to work with those ladies in Kansas City. So, really, what I'd like to do is bring rosin down here, and they're very, they're not difficult. They just know what they want, ladies, and I think we need to assign somebody to deal with them, to work with them every day. It's a lot of paperwork. It's kind of like that hotel in Pleasanton. It qualified too, but nobody took the time to do any of the paperwork, and they tore it down. But I mean,
the
it's
problem with the courthouse too, which is, it's almost insurmountable. If you want to keep it as a historic structure, which you do,
Mhm.
those high ceilings, that air conditioning is going to be a nightmare because all we got in there is window units. And there is no air conditioning. It's window units.
how many times in the last, David, the time you've been here, how many times that place has been renovated?
I mean, I don't think it's ever been renovated.
What put money into it and did over $20,000 worth of work.
Oh, every few years, I mean, there's
Front,
something all the time.
about 6 years ago. But the other thing too, upstairs is now in tube wire.
Yeah.
There
I'm
is
not saying it's perfect, but
no, I'm not either. I'm just trying to be upfront with what I see. The fire suppression is a dry hydrant that you tie to the building and pump to the attic, which I would want to be up there with the fire hose in that attic. Because you have to weave through a little.
I know, I've been up there.
So,
I carried all the bird crap down from that bell tower when I was 19 years old. It was the worst thing I ever did in my life.
yeah. So, love historic, I'm not saying, but I'm just trying to put out the challenges that are there to do it. Heating and cooling is huge. Heating, we got boilers. But cooling, that's.
I just don't agree with.
So, if you
It's either freezing or burning up in the
Yeah.
offices, you can't regulate it in.
So if we didn't use that building, we said, okay, what's the other option?
We pay to keep it up to par and then find somewhere else.
I don't know.
Well, yeah, and like I said, they did have a plan on the sheriff's office, like an idea that they could have clerk and treasurer, register of deeds. Because that's the other thing that I see from the IT side of it is those core functions. I mean, mapping and appraiser are very tight. Clerk, register of deeds, treasurer, very tight. They need to be, you can't put the clerk on one end of town and the treasurer on the other end of
No.
town. They need to be in the same zone.
You can't get appraiser very far from
Yeah.
what's under either. I mean, another building I can see working if they're close, but you've got people like, you come into MV, they have to send them to appraiser to get things done and come back. I mean, we all work with those departments.
So how long would it take to get those people down here and?
I can probably make a phone call and get them down here pretty quick, but but I agree with you guys. I'm against putting just a little amount of money. If we're gonna do it, do it. Kansas City up there in those historic buildings, they will. I mean, they're not even. I mean, they're about to fall down when you start, and then they pay you to live. To remodel it. I mean, it's definitely something.
That's
They're
good,
gonna
they're
do.
gonna pay for it. If they can't pay.
And I'll definitely take the lead on it and talk to those ladies. I work with them, so I'll see what I can do about getting someone down here. But if it ever come to about, I mean, it's like a full-time job pretty much to deal with those and keep all the paperwork. It's a lot of work.
Well, we could certainly pay the salary.
You think it'll pay for it?
Yeah, they will. Yes, they pay for it. Yeah, they're just tax credits, but you got to do it, how they want, and they bring the historic and the modern together, and with this still the historic look of the building.
Well, the other thing too, I mean, if you wanna put public works there around it, or if you wanna figure out how to put the assessors and put us over there, I'm not sold on anything, whatever works best.
And I had asked the appraisers to go over and look at that. They were worried about, depending on what month it was, who, with all the people coming in the front door of the district courts building, just happened to be all spread out all the way down the back side of the building. And, they thought that would, from what I was talking to them about.
Appraisers like the brick building, but
They haven't went and looked at it. That's what she told me whenever she was walking out there. She hadn't went and looked at it, but we had talked, and I think that would work better for them because they have so many filing cabinets that all of them have to use, and then it's actually closer between here and the mapping than it would be to walk across the top of the courtroom.
Put the mapping on the back corner.
And they wouldn't all fit in here if we made these in the offices.
We could, but where you guys,
Where's nothing, we'll find a spot, bunker,
all I need's a bucket.
If
Need a bucket.
if you took that,
We're having a bad meeting.
if you took that room out, there'd be plenty of room for everybody.
That's what I'm saying.
But I think there is plenty of room for everybody. You're not going to get, there's 7 offices they need, right?
Yeah.
I think they need, we won't get all 7 offices in there though.
You won't get seven.
No, I don't think so, no.
But when you say 7 offices, I mean, they only, so you look at this, what they've occupied today, and there was where Steve was and there's where Deb is. I mean, they just kind of inhabited space that we.
Right, they're all
Now,
kind of,
they need separate offices, but do
Yeah.
we need a separate office for every single person?
I mean, they're,
Because like some of those are like their job is field appraisal. That's 6 months out of the year. They're not even in the office.
I think it'd be tight. I think it'd be hard to fit them all, everybody in there.
And you get the vault. So you've got like a nice storm shelter and a place to store.
I just don't see a whole lot of money it's going to take to get that building up to par.
That's what I'm saying though, if it was in reverse, that you guys, this office moved in here, and all this was for the appraisers and for whatever else you got in there,
It'd work either way, yeah.
I'm just saying. The appraisers.
But didn't you say that they didn't like the idea of that?
When we continued to talk about it being spread out like all the way around, the courtroom was going to be a little more of a hassle rather than maybe being in here. But they haven't really looked at either one of them. But I was thinking, when I started thinking about that aspect of things, I think this is going to be perfect for them. There's a restroom up here, but isn't there a restroom up here? Then there's one in the very back with a big office and another office on the other side. You tear that bathroom out, that is a massive room for all filing cabinets.
How many offices can you put in here?
I think, I don't know. My entire plan was to put the commission in there because you already have the seating for the public.
So you see that one that says, law library right here, this one? Okay, so this room already exists, so that's a nice little office, just multiply that throughout there. That's a good size, it's probably a 12 by 12, 10 by 12 office, that's already existing there at the district court.
So you can probably get some.
You know, I'm just for scale.
Anyway, we gotta think of a way that still doesn't solve our issue with the clerk and the treasurer's office. I mean, we have to,
The thing I do like about that building with, if you did do mapping and Fraser, more public seems to come in and deal with them. The restrooms in that building are way more appropriate to the public than Public Works. And I don't know if you have an issue of people, because I don't see a lot of public using our restrooms in this building, meaning that just seems, it's already there. Those front restrooms are ADA right now. They have all the facilities in that.
Isn't there like 4 or 5 throughout there?
Yeah, there's a lot. But I'm just saying that would be to put a Fraser in the brick building, because they're 2 tiny little restaurants. One's just at the end of the hall, and the other, and they're like what you, just a little bitty thing.
anyway, we obviously didn't even solve this case today, but we gotta keep in mind what's best for you guys too over there, you and Janet, and then, I'd still really like to see them come down.
Yeah. Either way, we're gonna have to upkeep that courthouse no matter what we do. I mean, there's gonna be more jobs of somebody's gonna have to keep the electricity on, you know, heat and cooling, we're still have to keep that going, but the building's gonna fall down and no one's gonna let that happen, so.
So, yeah, could you get them on
Yeah.
the schedule?
Mhm.
Anyway. Jim, you have any more of those ideas? So we need to keep those around for a while until we figure out what.
Well, I'm just like, what I've heard on the bottom floor is everybody, I mean, maybe you're wanting to leave, I don't know, David, but the other 2 offices in there, I think.
They don't.
They do.
I mean, I'm just
I
telling you
would
that,
rather get into something that works better for office space than what we have.
right, I understand that.
For
but-
storage of the electric.
Ring pretty good out.
Just shoved in a little room in the basement that's terrible right now.
But you also gotta realize if we get out of that building, where's the records gonna go? Holy moly.
Yeah, there's thousands of old records stored down there.
It'll take a lot of room to-
Way back when, I was saying, take that jail, renovate it on the HVAC side and move the records over there if you had to. For archive, temperature control archive, because there's stuff up there being run because they're.
Even moving out of the top floor, we'll still have to heat it and everything, won't we? I mean, even if, when we move out of it.
I suppose that there is no plumbing there. There's no water. or
No.
anything, so I don't know if we would need it to be,
If you don't heat and cool it though, it's gonna fall.
because that
down.
is the reason our boiler is so hot on the first floor, is they're cranking it up so that the upstairs is getting something. Yeah.
Okay. So we got around the.
But, and if we were to go out of the court, then we have we have we have Don George's office down there, we have Chris's office down there, Rick's office down there.
Which I'll be over.
Oh yeah, you will be, that's right, yeah.
And we had always planned to leave the maintenance group over there.
And Don doesn't have to, like, he wants to stay there.
Yeah.
I've asked him, he's like, yeah, that's great, so.
Always happy to have space.
Yeah, more power to him.
And that's not something we're required to provide, that's just something we've done. And
So is that something you can push and work on hard?
Yep.
See what it's about? Okay. Any major issues on any of the other buildings that we need to consider?
Again, I know we did the compactor side at Prescott.
Where's it at? Is it out by the cemetery, like by PDQ? No, I didn't even know they had one, truthfully. Why do they have one?
And it's like the nicest one.
Now, where would they go? Would they
Take
take it to the landfill
direct
or
to the
just the
Another
landfill?
mile?
Yeah,
Yeah.
another mile to the landfill.
What would happen?
Take the equipment and use it else.
Yeah, so what would happen if we did vacate that piece where they're at and we made them use the landfill?
And I don't know how they feel about it. Why not? That would
Is
work.
the hours the same? I mean, is it already take?
How much time and effort do we have?
They're open on the weekend, there were no. So like on
Wow.
Monday, they might be open for people to dump, but we're not open on Sunday. but that's about it.
It's open on Sunday, you think,
Yeah,
down there?
but
huh?
we're only in, well, Monday through
See,
Saturday.
in Mound City,
And, or Preston.
Mound City's not open on Sunday.
Mound City expanded their hours, twice as many hours as they're open.
They're longer hours, but they're just not Sunday. Yeah, but they've opened a lot
There
more.
is some,
Like Pleasanton Sunday.
Lansing has theirs open on Sunday.
Yeah. Pleasanton Sunday.
Wasn't it ever even closed?
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. I mean, to have that whole site there, they're open till noon on Saturday. And, you know, to dump household waste. And that's where they take it. I mean,
How, that's probably why it's in such good shape. Well, what does it consist of having to go there? I mean, do we have to send a guy there in a roll-off truck, pick it up? I mean, what is it, a 2-hour deal each time we do it?
Yeah, haul it down.
So
Not
half,
that much, but
He probably filling it.
redundancy, it's crazy redundancy having one that.
Think about it, because you're like,
Yeah, well,
side here and side here, little town, 200 people.
you know. What about the sheriff's garage? It's empty.
he's been utilizing it for his work cars, hasn't he?
Yeah, they've been, like, the guy that's
Rewiring.
wiring cars has been using it as a roof, you know.
I mean, does it cost us a lot of money to keep it?
I don't
Evidence garage costs us $301 in insurance a year. Right now, I mean, it's pretty beneficial to Kevin. I mean, I'd assume maybe.
Just a nice building, it's decent shape.
There's really nothing wrong with it. I don't know, guy put the roof on.
Here's eight,
Oh, yeah, that's a,
Where is it at? Which,
This is a
I
yellow.
know what sheet's it on. I
Oh.
didn't see it.
oh.
But how much it cost a year?
Evidence building.
Oh, good. I'll see that.
And even if you didn't, I mean, if you took it down, I think we should keep it. It's the bones are great. It just,
I just don't see why we'd even take it down right now that we don't have any plans for another, anything to go there. I mean, it'd just
You
be,
gonna put it up somewhere else?
we could, I mean,
You need it for storage somewhere else?
we could use it, precedent.
or do we need storage there?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
You know, it could be cleaned up and, you know, you talk about file cabinets or stuff in the basement or whatever. I mean, it's got a solid concrete floor all the way through. It's got gas to it.
It does. Okay. So probably should leave it where it's at. You wanna talk to Prescott and find out what their feelings is on? Okay.
You put the Pleasanton Airport building as good.
Well, yeah, that's perfect. But you can't see through the walls.
wasn't it just built?
Yes, it's the guy didn't need to.
By you
Is
and
there
not-
something living underneath it? Looks like something crawls underneath it and lives.
We're not getting rid of the building. I'm making fun of
No,
Jimmy. Just make,
we have a lot of.
we had a lot of challenges.
No headers,
No footer. He didn't pour a footing at all.
footing.
It was just a slab. The only thing holding it to sliding was the plumbing. It was awful. He put in the septic tank backwards.
Backwards, 350 gallon septic tank installed backwards. That's when I took over, it was already, the horse was already down the road. When you cancel a contract and you kick the contract to the curb, and you owe him $17,000 and he doesn't say, you owe me $17,000, he walks away, that tells you. He left $17,000 on the table. But he hit, I mean, those fast,
To hold it down?
it was,
So let's talk about the health department in Pleasanton.
Where's it at?
the health department and that,
The church.
Yeah.
The senior.
Senior, did you get an agreement?
I did. I went to the city council meeting last week and talked to them, and they are 100% on board. They would love it for us to be there.
So did you get an agreement then?
Yeah, they wanted, about the whole restaurant or the restaurant license that she was talking about. She wanted to talk to you or somebody in the county about, what, or, yeah, we're ready to go. They just wanted to know, like,
Yeah, they have to have that, area on aging has to have that in place. And it's coming up due in April, is that what you
Yeah.
said?
So we have to, if we change during
Or to
the,
use your community building instead of.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. So if we use community building, what are we gonna do with that senior center? My idea was to get rid of it.
Streaming?
yeah.
Yeah, we have to, we're still.
I mean, we're paying
We don't have to.
I didn't.
$1,200 a year in insurance on that building. That is, helps justify my decision on it. Cause that place is,
And the health department, the health department, those are two buildings we need to consider as well.
Yeah.
Is there any other building? So
holy moly.
the senior center in Pleasanton, if we get the agreement to sign with Pleasanton Community Building, and the health department will be empty once we get the generator and that refrigerator moved.
Yep, that's the
It's an
key.
important refrigerator
Yep.
over there. They got one, they need another one stored.
I can, how would we have to do that? I mean, I could talk to the both neighbors and see if, because I know at one time somebody said that, you know, both neighbors are actually interested in the
Well,
building
then,
at one
we
time.
do it just like we would with this house, we take, the height, and best offer. And we'll take that into consideration. You know, the senior center, it was an old church. I don't know if the city has any use for it or not, and you could offer it back to the city, offer it to the city for $1. That's what we've done in the past. And with the redemption right, if they decide they're just gonna sell it, they can back it up if we want. We had right of first refusal.
Yeah.
We did that with the Presbyterian.
Yeah. Those are the buildings, and how much was the health department insurance?
2,500, or what is it? Oh, where was it? I just saw it. It was like,
Health building. I don't know if you name.
health building is, well,
It's line 37.
oh, it's 300, no, it's about, oh, 2650.
2648.
So they make any, those considering, those, get rid of those two buildings? Some of the ones you mentioned that needed new roofs, probably need to get back on some. Yeah, we have the budget to do something like that.
We had put that line in there for the shops to start with them to fix the roads. The two roads that I'm talking about, the house and we got insurance money to do it, like, we just never did it.
How much land do we own? Like,
Oh, that was.
yeah, do you have any of that?
Yes, I knew that.
Is this?
Yes, that's all the properties. We go city by city.
Even that one property in Pleasanton, I mean, remember it's, where is, like, where's the old road at? There's some property there that belongs to the county. Belongs to the county, belongs to like 3 different entities.
We own that, we own that little place behind it too. I didn't know that. You got Joe Pointer on one side, right?
Were you talking about the one?
Behind Casey's right here.
Oh, yeah. We own part of it, we own some of it, then we own jointly some of it. That's what I put in for that grant, to put a road into there, and it was.
Isn't there already a road in there that,
It stops before it gets to the other
oh,
property. And then Jessica says, economic development on something. It's,
There was like 3 entities that got some rights to that.
yeah, the city and the county jointly own the property we own.
Yeah.
Because somebody, was gonna put something back there, and when they didn't, they built somewhere else and they feeded it to the city and
Where's this landlocked property at?
What property?
Landlocked.
Is that what it says on there?
It says it's landlocked property here in the blue. I just,
Oh, yeah.
1525 road.
It's right here. It's this one.
Oh,
Oh, it's the little blue.
Yeah, I know, but what,
Oh, I see.
What is it?
Where literally it is.
Yeah.
I see. Good question.
Is that on the way to over to Centerville?
1525 road would be up that way, but I just wondered where it's at.
Is there a little hog farm over that way or something? Or no, is that not what that is? Is it?
1525 road. It's
Got the fourth page in, it's got one blue thing.
landlocked, but this one's
We own this
close.
property right here. Who, you know, people farm that. That little tiny place out there by Waddles Road, by Mine Creek Crossing. Yeah, they farm. They farm that. Well, I didn't know we owned that much or land around the landfill. Wow.
well, see, some of those are old cells.
What do they, once they're, can you not ever get rid of them?
I don't know. I know you can't build anything.
I know the city doesn't maintain it, there's just trees or all that.
Yeah, you can't build anything on it, so. We cut hay on it.
Okay, here's for. I'm trying to get my bearings.
I just don't know where it's at.
Yeah,
I mean,
so right here's K7.
okay.
See that little dot? That's
Okay, I know where that's at.
Okay.
But I don't, what do we own?
1525. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's where that like Philippine Duchesne Park is up here.
Yeah?
It's down there in that curve. I have no idea why we own that. But yeah, that's what that is.
That's there and
Yeah.
I wouldn't know what it's.
why we have it.
So, you got a map there?
Yeah.
And we got,
So you know where,
Yeah, like this little place right here on Waddle Road. I mean, what, this is the creek. This is all this, but I think John Black used to dump a lot of debris, rock in this side of that. Right there in the creek. There's a lot of rock in there, a lot of fill.
But see, the crazy part is, you know, over here,
Yeah.
up here,
Yeah.
township owns that.
What? What township?
Whichever township it is, they own
See, I wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
it.
Dan Black and his mom own.
Yeah, they own
That.
that side of it, the other side is owned by the township.
go up the hill.
And then I think there's a
Exactly.
Chapman's parent. Somebody farms that little tiny land right there,
Where-
right here in the corner.
Yeah, but see,
Not even clear.
and I told them, that road goes down here, and it's all on us, I told them, fill that in, stop people from driving down there, it's all on the county.
Cause that's the creek line that's following on that side. And it's-
Yeah, I mean, we better put a lot of dirt and mud in there because people. I mean,
But this right over here,
that's where I got this right here from.
Yeah,
I had fun when I went through that on the 4-wheeler and jumped the Tiger Road.
this is township.
That's
Makes
weird.
no sense. I don't even know what township.
But so what? I mean, what would we have that land for? Just to debris for rock?
Gary's another one that I would have a different explanation, I said, we don't need it, we need it. Yeah. Find a reason to.
We can turn that into a landfill.
There you go. That's what we need.
But the fact that it's landlocked, I mean, you don't have to, like, sell it to a.
That's what I'm saying,
You
somebody
know,
will want it,
yeah, a little bitty piece of
they
property.
don't, we'll tell them we're gonna build a road to it.
They can put a cap. Here we go, this is rusty.
Put oil.
Anybody got any other questions about the property? So now everybody knows what all the properties are. You got your own proof copy.
Now here's something I didn't know.
what do we own here? Is that's where the tower
That's
is?
the tower.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Potosi Township owns that. And it's nothing but a
Where most of that's at.
Yeah.
That piece, I don't know.
raise the taxes on it, we'll figure out, you know. Fire station. Now, here's some interesting fact on Blue Mountain, where that Quonset hut is right there. This building is falling down. They said, don't park on the side of your building, we might collapse onto it.
No part. That's funny.
Someone told me that last week. The roof is caving in on that building and they're afraid the building's gonna come down.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, so we know we're probably gonna get rid of 3 buildings. How we're gonna put it on the old health department and then senior center.
Senior center,
At the end, it's been memorandum of understanding together with Pleasanton. We can do that, we can get rid of that building, we can either offer it to Pleasanton to have a use for it first, or we can just sell
Want to go over there and get a look inside.
Does, you mentioned this restaurant license thing or whatever, that's on Echo does?
it. Yeah, they do it all. The her concern was, well, what happens in April, after April, then she's got, and then all of a sudden in May, we wanna move over to Pleasant, she's gotta buy, they won't transfer.
We got to buy two licenses.
The way she was.
Yeah. No, makes sense.
Did you get your new van?
Yes, down there at the other shop.
It's really nice.
So then, some hardline things and Danny, so we're relying on you to get the,
Historic.
look at that before we actually make a decision on really what we wanna do with the district court and so they'll start tearing the buildings down. Cutting more wire, everything until we figure out, where everybody goes and that's usually the meeting people probably. I don't wanna move there, I don't wanna do this. We haven't decided on anything, so. Just wait and see, but it's good to have the discussions on it. Talk about all that stuff. Because, well, we haven't. We clearly talked about all the buildings at once. And some of the repairs that need done, like on that house, I'd like to see a proposal come up for the roof on that one, and what's the roof on what other one? There's another roof.
House.
And the house.
Yeah,
And then,
and then,
depending on what we do on that senior center, late senior,
we're not gonna do anything right now.
I don't think it's bad to worry about it, but if we,
Is it not leaking? If it's not leaking, let's not. Yeah, but it does need to be kept up to, I know Danny goes over there, I saw him one day over there anyway. Cleaning. There's not really much cleaning to do, but he's over there doing his thing. But, it needs to be powered off sometimes, got a lot of mold on that line on the outside.
Do you want anything regarding these buildings to look
Yeah,
at?
I think
make
if
a
you look
fix?
at, cause you got people that lives in, or not lives in, but are in there. How much is it gonna cost to remodel?
Well, to me, when you start moving that electricity, you could do a little work.
Yeah, but you talk about, and I agree, that we don't wanna replace it, just remodel, right?
Yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
saying, when you go start moving electricity, you're gonna talk a lot of money to get somebody in there, and you're gonna kill your power. You're gonna be down for a few days, moving it from one building to another.
we've known. But we just, it's on the list.
Yeah.
Well, and I'd like to say, in talking with Mike, like, let's say Parker, just as an example, if we did take it down, we would have to upgrade it to the newer 3-phase.
Okay.
So, certain instances, as long as it's still safe to remodel, I say we just remodel.
I agree. You're gonna
Yeah,
talk
because
about
it's 3-phase, it's gonna take a lot more money to,
Yep.
once you go to the
Because we have to
new,
get new transformer, new everything.
you're talking thousands of dollars.
I don't want to. I can tell you right, man. It's the way it
I mean, if we say we did do that, we could utilize those parts, transformers, all that kind of stuff for other places that needed it. That's right.
For example, we took we shut the compactor site at the park down. And we took the compactor out and we went to the dumpsters because people now, instead of us picking up bag, now they put it in the dumpster. We took that back to the landfill, we're already using half of it when one of the other units failed.
But that's the compactor.
Do we do the one in Lynn Valley too?
No. They own that, Sugar Valley owns that, and Tanglewood owns theirs.
We pick up trash.
Yeah, we pick up the trash that's under our umbrella
Right.
as the, license. Solid waste provider.
KDHE.
Right. That's the reason we don't provide boxes, to individuals, businesses. We do it to tax base or not even charities, because we're competing with the private sector. We waive the dump fees, but we don't want to compete with the people who provide jobs.
How are the containers and the roll-off truck and everything?
Our-
What condition are they in?
Well, the two main trucks we run have been replaced since I've been here, so in 4 years, we've got 2 trucks there.
Are the compactor, I mean, are the containers still in good shape?
Pretty much, we weld on them periodically. We cut the tops off a bunch of them and use them for metal boxes.
How many runs do we do down to
Arcadia.
Arcadia?
I'm not quite sure.
We do every day?
Yeah. They- It's hard to say when it gets full, but we have a route that we run.
And they're utilizing that new tractor we bought? Semi?
Yes.
There was some talk about once, I think you talked about, was they were hauling it down there, but it wasn't compacted. In other words, they were hauling 4 tons and it's capable of 8 or 10 or whatever it was.
Yeah, Mike was talking about that, the walking floor.
And he went up all the.
And I quite honestly, I'm not. We are getting compaction, not as much as, I mean, it'd be nice to upgrade all the equipment. The odd thing is, I went to the conference, I sat down next to a guy who's running the DC now, working for the EPA, and he said, you know, where recycling cans started. And I said, no, he said, Linn County, we were the first county to recycle. Our facility was state of the art. So he probably talking about what we're still using to this day, the same stuff, so we need to take the next step one of these days.
Surely there's some kind of grant money out there to utilize on that stuff, huh? I mean, it's recycling, that's what Biden's about, right?
Well, they're
Make everything good.
But they're small bites, they're not big bites, they're little bites, like
Now, once you fill the thing up like down here, then you actually, that's what you hold to,
Arcadia.
Arcadia. Once it's full, you just come get it and you take
And
it.
we pay for it. We pay for the dump fees down there, and we pay for the haul.
Local hired dumpers that, pick up loads or trailer loads or whatever, they haul it down there. They dump it on our trash force too.
Yep.
Are we sorting it or are we just?
No.
putting it in there?
We push it into the compactor,
And did we ever get that sorted out, what the difference was in a guy that's local and uses his pickup truck and loads his truck up to the top?
we had that.
The guys that, because some people weren't paying fair, there was a big argument over all that stuff.
So the local trash guys that haul down there to Prescott and dump, well, then we sort what they got and
No,
we just
only recycle.
recycle. Okay.
But
So-
that's on the trash form, still got to put it.
So let me get it right. On those those compaction containers from the bill, we pick those up and take them all the way down to Arcadia twice a day?
Yeah,
But isn't there a better way?
You do what now?
So those blue containers,
When they get full, it might take a week, might take a day, might take,
oh, I got you. But there's no,
but we have 2 drivers running nonstop.
that's crazy.
All the sites.
Can we not open the back of this thing and dump it in like an in dump or like a walking floor trailer like Mike was talking about? I didn't know that's how it worked. I mean, so we're taking each container individually down there?
Yes.
Is it so compacted in there you can't get it out or what?
But it's pretty compacted. We have compactors that push it into that trailer. Or the box that was up there. It's compacted into that
So
box.
how do we get it out of there though?
Down at Arcadia.
Just lift it up?
Arcadia.
I mean, how many tons are in one of those? Would it be beneficial to have a semi trailer to put all that stuff in with like a tarp over the top and take 3 containers at once?
How,
Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't know. That's a lot of miles, isn't it? I mean,
We had 2 drivers.
How long are those things? I've never paid it. I've
They're
been,
32.
are they 30?
They're about 30, I would say,
Because of the-
but they're compacted in
I
there.
know, yep.
So it's not, but our compactor equipment is, and if we've been talking to Chris about it, the guy has to stand there and operate the button with his finger to get it to compact once it gets half full. So the equipment is old and tight, there's no doubt.
Right.
And you're talking to rebuild and modernize that. Big chunk of change. Yeah.
There's a salary.
Yeah.
See what, I wonder if you could, I mean, say, just to say, you know, like we get the compactor, we dump it down there at the landfill, it's on top of, like, it's on like a loading dock. Then we have a trailer just pushed up there and we pack like 3 or 4 of them in at once and take one big load down there. Would that be beneficial? Or is that too much weight?
So we do pack it, we dump it on the floor, we push it into this
Well,
hole.
that's it, like, I, right? or-
He's talking about.
I'm talking about
I'm talking about like in Mound City.
I'm talking the compactor
City.
a piece.
I don't think it would compact it any more than ours, that's the same piece of equipment.
But what he's
No, I
saying,
mean,
You're missing it.
instead of making 2 trips every day.
Have 3 in 1 trip.
Yeah.
with these,
Yeah, we would have to buy new equipment to do that.
Yeah.
To use a semi instead of
A roll-off truck.
what is it? I'd have to look at the weight and everything else what they're doing. But you might save 1 trip. But I would say 2 of them, because you're.
What is our landfill down there's full and we can't dump it? Is that what was it?
Ours is for CD only, it is not, it's for commercial or construction debris.
That's
You
all it
cannot
is.
put that stuff in there, because it's a whole new set of regulations.
Hmm.
That's why the household goes down there. Now, if somebody comes in and has a box full of chemicals, paint, we take that over to the noxious weed building, we have some storage
Then
in
you get
there.
rid of it.
Well, it's kind of like you need some paint to paint your house. People come in and they take it and they go use it. Then after a while, if it builds up, we normally don't get rid of it. We only get rid of the hazardous stuff, which we spent about $32,000.
Yeah, that one time.
Oh, I thought everybody just put it underneath like the big piece of board where you couldn't see it and dumped it out there.
What you can do on paint, we have
Don't tell them how to do it.
is you can roll a piece of plastic out there.
That's what we did at Phillips all the time. If we had paint from
Yeah.
tanks and everything,
And
we'd
that's
throw a
what we
piece
did.
of plastic out and then we'd just throw it out on there and let it dry, then we'd wad it up and get rid of it.
Yep, that's what we did.
Yeah, that's what we did too.
But if we want
I just put it underneath the board and dumped it.
Or a board.
and then we could go dump the board in the CD, because it's dry, it's okay. Well,
When it's dry,
And there's a lot of regulations on that stuff, huh? Crazy.
Alright. Anybody else have anything?
I think we accomplished a lot today.
We mentioned earlier, talking with Gary for some advice on, extending or not extending those extra leave benefits. I don't know if we ever took any action.
We did. We can still do that because we're still open.
It's still an open meeting.
Yes, so,
And I got the impression that the consensus was kind of to let those end at the end of this month.
what's your thoughts, Jim?
I think we've got pretty good sick leave. I realize there's
Yeah, I
some
think-
people that don't.
I think, I mean, we can change it too if it comes up again. I mean, if it gets to a point where people,
gets to
I
what
mean,
looks
it's
like
really
it's gonna be-
affecting people.
And I think if we're gonna look at that, we need to really have some discussion about a policy and how we're gonna administer it and what the limits are, but for now, like I say, what we have in place is ending this coming weekend,
So
so
you need this.
I need to know what we're gonna do,
To not extend, or to extend, either way, right?
yeah, however you want to
So
handle it.
somebody wanna make a motion?
I mean, I'd be in favor not to extend them, and if time comes up, we talk about it again. I mean,
So it's been moved that we not extend these benefits any further. There's a second,
A second.
been moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
3-0. Okay, so, nothing else? Got 3 possible buildings to get rid of, some repair, and then we gotta find a solution still for everybody to be housed. Call on me.
Yeah, I'll try to get some people. At least
So in about 2 or 3 weeks, I'd like to have a workshop on noxious weed with what's the Southwick kid? Bring him in. Because that process has gone horribly before a couple of times. And I'd like to have that, maybe a policy, a rough draft of a policy for what we talked about this morning. So we can talk about that, and it shouldn't take, anytime, 20 minutes after, at the end of the meeting, 30 minutes at the most, talk about that. He didn't have to come in until like 11 or so. And then every 2 or 3 weeks, we need to have another one. That's the building.
Thank you. Get lucky to done that.
Oh, you're good, you're good.
Move a second, all in favor? Aye. Yeah.